What's up, YouTube? I'm Mike. Today I'm back with a quick update video. This is probably not going to be very long. I just haven't made a video in a while, and I wanted to explain why. I started getting some people on social media asking me what's up. So this basically is just another update video in the 2025 road to 225, which has had some setbacks. I was during when I last left you, I was up to 208, so I was cruising along nicely. I had been running 400 milligrams of Deca, 600 milligrams of Masteron, and 100 milligrams of Tren E per week. So it was Mast E and Tren E. And then I was using Tren A sort of as needed pre-workout. Everything was going great until I guess about 2 weeks ago now. Week ago? How long has it been?
For what?
Since we left the vacation? 2 weeks ago, we decided to take our kids to Colorado for vacation. My kids are, like I've said a million times, are just totally spoiled rotten. And so, like, we buy them presents and stuff, pretty much whatever they want, whenever they need it or want it. And so birthdays and Christmas and stuff is kind of weird because, you know, you're asking the kids, like, hey, what do you guys want for Christmas? And they're like, I don't know, like, we've got everything. And so instead of continuing to just just force like presents that don't really make any sense, you know, buying crap they don't need, my wife said, hey, what if we all together, like, instead of getting each other Christmas presents, what if we go on a vacation? Which is like a really genius idea for a wife to come up with, right? Because if we had bought everyone Christmas presents, it would have cost me maybe $200-300. Instead, we all went on a 4 or 5 day vacation to Colorado, and it cost me like $3,000. So, way to go, wife.
I think you don't know how much we spend on Christmas.
I don't know how much you spend on Christmas.
Yeah.
It damn sure better not be $3,000.
Might not be 3,000, but it's definitely closer to 1,000.
There you go. So what we did, we had a great time. We stayed in Colorado Springs. Unfortunately, the weather was not on our favor. Basically, we were just trying to take the kids to play in the snow. Born and raised in Texas, they've never really been to like snowy mountains. We spent a lot of time in the mountains on our travels, but that was all during the summer. And so the little bit of snow they've seen was like super high altitude and not like the powder and fun snow that you can play with, just kind of like off the side of a trail or something. And so that's something that they've been excited about doing, and we've been promising for quite a while now, actually. We were actually going to go last year to Salt Lake City. Really kind of regret not doing that now when, you know, before I got back to work. We really should have done that. But, you know, it is what it is. So we went to Colorado. We stayed in Colorado Springs, and we were having to drive in to the mountains to actually get to the good snow. So one of the days we drove into Breckenridge. And, I mean, to us, it was like a blizzard. Like, I've never in my life seen so much snow. We were like so excited about the snow. Like I was. We were like en route to the city of Breckenridge, and we went over the Hoosier Pass, which is where we really got into the thick of it. And I just pulled off on the side of the road on one of the little turnouts. And the kids did snow angels and built little snowmen. And we played in the snow just like on the side of the road at the top of the mountain for a little while. And then got in the car and went down to Breckenridge and kind of walked around and saw the little town. My wife and I have been all over Colorado in the spring, in the summer, but we've never been in the fall. We've never been in the winter before. So it was a cool experience for us. And then we spent the day in Vail. We had to drive into Vail, so, you know, that's the thing with our vacations. Every time we go on vacation, it's never a vacation. It's like we drove 6 hours to stay in Amarillo, then we drove 6 hours the next day to stay in Colorado Springs. Then you get up the next day, you've got a 3-hour drive to Breckenridge, then a 3-hour drive back. Then we laid it down in the hotel for a day. Kids played in the pool. There was like an Olympic-sized pool with a slide, and snow actually fell in Colorado Springs that day. So my wife and my daughter did some like sledding just outside the resort hotel we were staying in. Had a lot of fun doing that. And then the next day we had planned to go to Vail And I wake up in the morning to avalanche warnings, which I was like, wait a minute, what? Avalanche? And it turned out that there was level 4 out of 5 avalanche warning along the Vail Pass, basically around the area of the Vail Pass, if you know anything about Colorado. And so I was kind of like, maybe we should pass on this. My wife being the kind of person who will literally die to have any experience. She absolutely doesn't care. Like, if once she gets her heart having set on an experience, she will face certain death to complete her objective. It's one of the reasons that we stay together, but it's also rather toxic. I've told stories about this in the past. So following her lead, honestly, I'm like, okay, well, F it. We'll just all die in an avalanche. No big deal. And what's crazy is, so like I started trying to like assuage my, is that the right word? Assuage my concerns. So I started doing research, like what are the odds of really like having an avalanche, like literally blow you off of the road into the ditch. And I wish I hadn't looked it up, because I look up the answer and I find out that 2 days prior of an avalanche in Colorado on the highway that we were planning on driving on blew a guy off the road into the ditch. His truck was upside down and passersby stopped. He luckily climbed out of a broken window and they threw him down a rope off of the edge of the overpass and pulled him to safety. So the whole time I'm driving to Vail, which again is a 3-hour drive, this is all I'm envisioning is our little X3 at the bottom of a ditch, looking into the rear to see if either my kids are still alive. And please understand that being born and raised in Dallas, Texas, I have about 0 snow driving experience. We don't really get snow here. We get ice. And so when snow comes, the entire city shuts down. I can count on one hand the number of times I've driven in anything even remotely icy or snowy. So my experience with snow is pretty much just that it's an ender, that you just cannot drive in it. Now, obviously, I know that this can't really be the way it operates in the mountains. Otherwise, this state wouldn't exist. So we set out on this trek, and about an hour and a half in, we get into some serious snow. And then there was a wreck up ahead, and so we get off on the highway to get some gas, and I'm talking to the locals, and I'm like, hey, I'm reading that the road is shut down ahead. Is Vail Pass safe today? I've got a family of 4. I'm trying to get to Vail, and the guy's like, he points me across the road. He's like, you see that bus over there? That bus over there is going to where you're going. And the reason he's sitting over there right now and he's not on the highway is because it is not passable. So until that bus leaves, I suggest you don't try to go to Vail. So my wife comes up at the end of this conversation and she hears this man who lives in Colorado tell us that we should absolutely not go any further toward Vail. And she immediately whips out her cell phone and is like, well, currently there's a detour and it says that we can get there. I think we're going to be fine. So I'm like, fuck it. Again, right? What's the worst that could happen? If we die in an avalanche, at least I don't have to go back to work at this job that I've absolutely grown to hate. So we set back out on the road to get to Vail, and lo and behold, maybe the guy didn't like my Trump hat and he was just lying to me, because we actually had very little incident getting to Vail. Now, admittedly, we do have, my wife drives a brand new BMW X3 with xDrive. That car performed phenomenally well on the snow. There was no moment at all where I felt even remotely unsafe on the road. The car handled really well. We got to Vail, and I won't bore you guys with every single one of the details, but we had a great time. The kids went ice skating at an outdoor skating rink inside of Vail Village. And then my wife found this park with this huge hill, and we got sleds, and my wife did some snow sledding, whatever you call it. If you follow me on Instagram, you can see all the videos and pictures if you care to see it, of our little trip to Vail and to Colorado in general. So all of that fun being said, I did what I often do when I go on vacation, and this is what's so hard for many people in my audience to understand. Most people go on vacation, or they have an experience where they get off of their pre-planned diet, and what happens? They get fat. They start immediately just blowing up and getting fat. My wife and kids and I are all complete polar opposites. So I got my son who's been bodybuilding with well, not exactly with me, but he's been bodybuilding. He's up to 140 pounds. When we left, I was weighing in at 208, 209. And we get out on these long, 6+ hour days in the car. And when I get in the car, man, my objective is to get from point A to point B as fast as possible. We're not sightseeing. We're not stopping to go to restaurants. We're just like going as fast as we can. I'm already operating on little to no sleep, so I'm eating modafinil like they're fucking Skittles. Basically, I'm not getting anywhere near the calories and hydration that I need. And so I start rapidly losing weight. Three or so days in, I've lost so much weight, I'm having to take on Dancetron to settle my stomach in the morning to get any kind of food in. So by the time we get back on the road to come home, so we were gone Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We came home Tuesday. So Tuesday, the 17th, I think, 18th or 17th, I drove 12 hours straight through. We drove 12 hours straight through from Colorado Springs back to DFW. The whole way home, that 12-hour drive, my youngest son, oldest in the house, Paul, was basically coughing and feeling sick in the back seat. So I pretty much already knew what my future held, because here you are trapped in an X3 with this kid who's coughing up a lung and blowing his nose constantly, and I can see the writing is clearly on the wall. And sure enough, by Thursday, I got home. We got home Tuesday night, went to bed, got up Wednesday. By Wednesday night, I think it was, or Thursday night, I was coming down with it. And then my daughter came down with it. So I have been sick since Thursday of last week. I have been in a massive calorie deficit. And so you probably saw at the very beginning of this video, I look more than a little bit rugged. What I am here eventually to tell you 12 minutes in is that my road to 225 has had a setback. So we got +1 vacations at the cost of -9 pounds. So I am back down to 199, 200 pounds in the evening from a high of 208, 209. The last 24 hours is the first period of time in the last week that I have been able to get any kind of substantial calories in. In fact, yesterday, and I need to go take it now, yesterday I started redosing the MK677, just trying to force my body to accept some calories. There were days where, when I was sick, where apparently what we had was an upper respiratory infection. Luckily, I had antibiotics on hand. I immediately started the antibiotics when I realized that I was feverish. My son was sick longer than me, I think. My daughter is still sick. She actually started recovering before I did, and my wife, in her infinite wisdom, decided to stop giving her the antibiotics, and she has now relapsed and has been sick for the past 2 days pretty bad. I don't know, I can hear my wife in there talking right now. We don't know that it's bacterial because we don't go to doctors and waste time and money getting tests. We just throw drugs at the situation. All I can tell you is that I've been on a steady dose of antibiotics, and I have been getting steadily better since day one. My daughter was started on the antibiotics. She started getting better, got off the antibiotics, and rapidly got worse. I think we have a bacterial upper respiratory infection. I don't know. Again, when you don't go to doctors and you do your own science, it's who could say? I just know that I'm better and she's not. So that's what's been going on. That's why you guys haven't been seeing any videos, any updates. I don't really have much else to say. Again, I'm back down to 200 pounds. I've been eating decent today. I'm still on cycle. I haven't changed anything. I'm still taking 600 milligrams of Masteron E, 100 milligrams Trenbolone E, and 400 milligrams of Deca per week. I will tell you that prior to vacation, I started having some D-game issues. When I upped the Deca from 300 to 400, not long after that, I had a couple of total fail moments in the bedroom. I thought that this was due to an increase in prolactin. And I started treating with extra cabergoline, and that did resolve the problem, although I am not confident in my diagnosis. I was taking, at 300 milligrams of Deca and 100 milligrams of Tren, I was taking 1/4 of a milligram every other day. When I raised the Deca only by 100 milligrams, I was suddenly requiring 1/4 of a milligram of cabergoline every day, which is basically double the dose, and I just don't think that logically follows. What I think actually occurred is that increasing the Deca caused me to go high on my estrogen, which is mimicking some of the high prolactin symptoms. So I'm currently doing a test where I have lowered my estrogen dose from 0.18 milligrams EOD to 0.15 milligrams EOD, and we're going to see if that resolves the D-game issue. If it does, then we know for certain that the D-game issue was caused by high estrogen. If it does not resolve, and I'm reducing my Caber dose. If the broke D-game returns when I lower the cabergoline, then we will know that in fact, for whatever reason, adding 100 milligrams of Deca massively increased my necessity for taking cabergoline. That will definitely be unfortunate news. If it turns out that I have to take a 1/4 of a milligram of cabergoline every single day at 400 milligrams, but I only need it 1/4 of a milligram every other day at 300, then I'm afraid my cycle is going to be in trouble, because I had full intentions on going as high as 800 milligrams per week on the Deca and 800 milligrams per week on the Masteron to try to grow to 225 without having to use excessively high doses of Trenbolone. If it turns out that this is an estrogen related problem, then that's obviously very easy to fix. I just lower, or potentially at some point will not have to take the injectable estradiol anymore, because the nandrolone will be sufficiently aromatizing to replace it. If it does in fact turn out that it is causing that massive of an uptick in prolactin, progesterone, whatever the hell happens, then I'm going to be forced almost certainly to go back to 300 milligrams of Deca and really reassess this entire cycle. If I can't use Deca to grow and I don't have test in the mix, then we really start to run into limited amount of compounds, and my hopes of being able to put on, 7 pounds of lean contractile tissue kind of start to go in I just don't know if it can be done with low dose Deca, low dose Tren, and a gram of Masteron. I certainly may try it, or like Mast plus Primo plus Anadrol. Like that would be where that's the territory we would be creeping into if it turns out that I cannot tolerate any more than 300 milligrams of Deca. So I'm very hopeful that what we're going to find out is that the D-game issue was caused by high estrogen. I definitely have some signs of high estrogen recently. A lot of crying at cat videos and such. So I'm hoping that that's the case. I'm definitely going to track that over the next week or so. I'm going to put the cabergoline back. I'm probably going to add a little bit. So I was doing 1/4 milligram every other day. I'll probably do 1/4 milligram with a couple of 1/8 of a milligrams mixed in to offset this slight amount of increase in the Deca, and then I'm going to lower the estrogen, and I might even go get a test again to just kind of see for sure where my E2 is at. Hopefully, again, like I say, hopefully it boils down to be the estrogen. So there you have it. That's why I haven't been making videos. That's what's going on. Still on no testosterone. aside, everything is still working great. Aside from the broke D game that came with the change of my cycle, everything in my body is going great. Despite having gotten sick yet again, this has been a winter of sickness. And if it wasn't for the fact that my whole family keeps coming down with these bugs, then I would be seriously concerned that the androgen abuse was weakening my immune system. But given the fact that my son is sick, my daughter is sick, my wife got one of the 2 bugs, it gives me some hope that it's just that we just had a bad run of it, and hopefully here in Texas it's going to start warming up pretty soon, and we get through this winter and get back to some warmer temperatures, and hopefully, and then it'll be allergy season. So we have that to look forward to. So anyway, there you have it. That's a quick little update. This has been not so quick now for those of you who care. Hopefully I'll get back to feeling good. I've been out of the gym for 2 weeks now. I was out of the gym the whole time we were traveling, and then the whole time I've been sick. So haven't been to the gym in 2 weeks. Haven't been eating for shit. Lost 8-9 pounds, and I look like death. And that's what you get. That's life. So there you have it. As always, thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next one.